Breaking news right now in WRAL, a massive fire burning in downtown Raleigh.
WRAL's commitment to the community drives what we cover and how we cover news. We aggressively report breaking news, informing the public to dangerous situations as they are unfolding.
We have a crew racing to the scene right now, but you can see how broad and how massive this fire is. It is lighting up the night sky.
It has erupted into this massive fire. The intense heat from the flames is going to be dangerous, and people will want to get out of this area.
I can tell you that literally in just the last few seconds, in just the last couple of seconds, right as you were tossing to me, we've heard two large boom sounding explosions come from the center of the fire. We're being kept, as well as everyone else, about 2 blocks from this massive fire, as you called it. That's exactly the word you need to use. This is a massive fire.
This fire is spreading very, very rapidly. This whole structure is completely engulfed right now.
Right now on WRAL, our team coverage continues on a massive fire in downtown Raleigh.
He was watching large embers kind of rain down onto other buildings around him, catching those buildings on fire as well. He could feel the heat on his face. He knew at that moment he needed to get away in a hurry.
Engine 13, engine 1, engine 3.
All right, I got engine 13 arriving on scene, asking for a second alarm. We're not going to be able to stop this.
Breaking news in Raleigh. Firefighters battle a massive 5-alarm fire through the night. Team coverage live from the scene right now on WRAL News.
Very scary night of glass flying and flames shooting high into the sky.
Still see the smoke and even smell the smoke here throughout downtown Raleigh.
Look at that glass. It looks like a bomb went off in
that
area.
Right now in WRAL, new images of damage left behind from the massive downtown Raleigh fire. From ground level to Sky 5 overhead. WRAL News starts right now.
It's not human lives, but the damage is just extensive. The biggest fire we've had in almost 100 years in downtown Raleigh, and still so remarkable that there were no serious injuries and no one killed.
And it was almost unbelievable that this was happening, and so scary at the same time.
We couldn't believe that no one was hurt.
Looking at their apartment building in the light of day, this couple still can't believe they got out alive.
We were getting ready to go to bed, and if we had not woken up, if something had gotten even worse, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it, and it was definitely a scary moment.
This fire is absolutely burning out of control.
We've heard 2 large boom-sounding explosions come from the center of the fire.
New information just in from the firefighters. It has been such a long, grueling night. We cannot thank our firefighters enough. The conditions that they are fighting right now.
We train for this, we train for it daily.
All of a sudden you hear pop, 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 pop. That's the image that I have every day. I'm lying on the ground.
I'm scared every time I approach a vehicle.
My mother always used to say, avoid police at all costs.
A lot of citizens don't trust us, and it's just a fact of life.
Black America knows that white people are treated much differently than we are, and that needs to be changed.
There has to be an understanding on both sides.
It's time for a change. It's time for a change. It's time for all of us to get together.
But we have to look towards reconciliation and moving forward, because ultimately this is our community and this is our city.
We interrupt this program for breaking news.
This is a report of a shooting incident at Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh that we've been following for the past couple hours here. Right now, this is video of people running out of the mall. This was posted on Twitter. You can clearly see and hear a chaotic situation there. Multiple reports of shots fired at Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh. Raleigh police, a SWAT team, remain on the scene right now. They are in the process of clearing stores one by one.
Everyone just started running and screaming, so we ran to a dressing room.
The sirens, the blue lights, the traffic gridlock, the mass of people streaming into the streets, fleeing the unknown.
The officer said, everybody put your hands up, put your hands up. So everyone in the store, they patted us down, and we had to run out with our hands up.
The priority is accurate information, timely information to the people that are potentially in the midst of harm's way.
Led by 6 meteorologists and 2 radars, we excel when weather matters most. WREL crews were there in the moments after a tornado hit and as a survivor emerged from the wreckage of his home.
Don't be out. It's life-threatening. It is raging.
And our excellence is evidenced in our reporting on Hurricane Matthew, one of North Carolina's worst natural disasters.
Have you ever been in a tornado before?
No.
You were in there sleeping when this happened?
Yes.
I went to the bedroom to get my phone to call someone. The trailer started shaking, rocking. It started doing everything. And the wind just tore the wind back. My husband was standing at the door. He fell. I fell. I don't know what to do. I'm lost with everything. I have no home to come to. This was my home for 9 years. I moved it over 9 years, and it's gone to nothing.
You see the roof is gone. Where were you standing when this happened?
Right here at the storm door, right here looking out. And the whole roof that just come this way. And I just screamed out, me and my old lady standing there.
She was inside the bedroom here, and you can see that the roof came down where she was standing here. The firehouse here?
The firehouse, just around the corner, actually. I was just over there not long ago. It's gone.
It's hard to see the scope of the flood disaster unless you've seen it from above. Just a lot of heartbreaking images. The entire town is underwater. Cars, houses, schools. It was devastating seeing that. We're nowhere close to being done with this.
North Carolina may see its worst flooding since Hurricane Floyd.
But you can see it is coming on Myrtle Beach pretty heavy at this moment. It really is quite powerful to see Mother Nature and all of her force coming at us like this.
The wind has really picked up.
There's Cross Creek behind me. It is raging.
Definitely windy here. We're getting periods where it really picks up when we get some of these outer rain bands.
The torrential rains are causing major flooding across our area.
This is a very serious situation. 72 water rescues that we know about.
Our camera was rolling when firefighters used the boat to pull Deanna Robinson, her boyfriend, and their 18-month-old baby from their flooded home. They had been trapped inside all night.
A little pond, and it overflowed, and then it went all the way to our backyard and to our house and covered our floors.
By the time we woke up this morning, it's just everything was underwater.
This is the parking lot of a gas station. You see big rigs stuck in the floodwaters, nearby neighborhoods as well, all because of the unrelenting rain and heavy winds from Hurricane Matthew. When we pulled up to this Robinson County community just off Interstate 74, family members were rescuing other family members using nothing more than a four-wheeler while other family members were still stuck.
I mean, my grandma and them, they trapped in the house.
It just, I ain't never seen it this bad, man.
I mean, when I pulled up, I saw the condemned sign on my house.
Thomas Atkinson thought he might return to some flood damage, but as it turns out, he has no home to return to at all.
This house is not livable. We can't even stay in here.
I don't see no right here. Why y'all getting right here?
Last night, there was looting. 14 people were injured, including 5 officers. 1 man was shot. Police are still trying to figure out who shot him, but he is in critical condition.
I do not believe you can deal with violence and hate with hate.
No justice! No peace!
Demonstrators took to the streets of uptown Charlotte for a 5th straight night. Many not happy with the quality and length of dash camera and body camera tapes Charlotte Mecklenburg police released in the Keith Scott shooting investigation.
What they released is it seems very edited.
You can see behind me here downtown, it's still a very active scene, and Dallas police tell us it's going to look like this here in the downtown area at least until Wednesday. It was a very chaotic scene last night, people scattering, running, screaming during a rally and a march as those shots rang out. We know 12 officers were shot, 5 killed, in what is being called a sniper ambush.
WREL investigates Monday.
WREL places heavy emphasis on enterprising stories. Our investigative team found a highway patrol supervisor repeatedly at home when he was supposed to be at work.
He's on the clock, paid with your tax dollars, 35 miles from where he's assigned to work. And not just one time. We found him on duty, but at home, time and time again.
We revealed that a teacher who sent inappropriate text to a student was able to get another teaching position in a neighboring county.
Picture this, your teenage son getting texts like these from his teacher.
My heart just stopped.
This mom contacted us with months of questionable text messages. We investigated and found this teacher still teaching. We wanted answers.
Mercy.
When you read through this, you're pretty clear it's a problem, right?
Yes, ma'am.
WRL investigates tonight at 6. And the warning.
WRL investigation of a teacher's inappropriate text messages to an 8th grade student.
Monica on Liberty got answers and action.
Things like this should not happen. We'll fix it.
WRL Investigates received a tip about a Highway Patrol sergeant's work habits. We spent almost 2 months tracking the trooper and routinely found his cruiser in the driveway of his home while he was on the clock.
Legs were shaking. My neighbors were shaking.
Adding to her fear, that day, investigators told Nancy Monda it appeared the fire at her Davie County home was possibly arson. 2 days later, another fire in the same location. Investigators poked around. One suddenly felt a clue.
And I want to say it went across their forehead because it'll hit right here and ouch.
It was the sunlight reflected from the neighbor's brand new energy-efficient low-E window. The firefighters' report describes the reflection as so intense you couldn't hold your hand in it for more than 30 seconds before it felt like it was burning.
It was pretty unbelievable.
Beams melted plastic on cars and vinyl siding on homes, state, and nationwide.
Wow.
We took the video of the burning yards to our state's top fire safety expert.
Get it away from the propane tank. That's scary.
Anything like that caught on fire, there'd be a recall. Melting vinyl and melting car parts is one thing, but when you are starting fires, somebody truly needs to do something about this.
You are looking at nearly $200,000 worth of heroin, nearly 350 bricks.
This is the largest heroin seizure in Nash County history, and the sheriff says it's only a piece of the problem.
And now you are seeing the folks at the Dean Smith Center erupting as it appears UNC has beaten Gonzaga.
That was back and forth throughout the entire second half after that. But in the last minute, a minute, 10 seconds, it was Carolina's game.
And now it's time for Carolina fans to celebrate. This is a live picture now of Franklin Street where you can see the people pouring out of all the restaurants, all the bars, probably from some dorm rooms. Everybody is just congregating here on Franklin Street. Now this is just the icing on the cake right now. Everybody's celebrating. You and I both have watched so many of these now. Very exciting to see Chapel Hill just partying like this. We've all been holding our breath, I think, this day, just hoping that this could possibly be another national championship. And here we go. First one since 2009, and Chapel Hill is celebrating again.
Yeah, and I know it's still loud in there, but there are not quite as many people inside that building as there were just 5 minutes ago.
Oh my God, let me take you back to the final seconds of this game. First of all, you could not hear yourself thinking it. Let me get out of the way so photographer Andrew Comey can show you exactly what's happening now. When the clock sounded and the buzzer sounded, I mean, thousands of people stormed the floor. And lo and behold, all these folks are headed right to Franklin Street. I guarantee you, David and Deborah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. They're not thinking about last year now. Thanks, Ken. And WREL's Adam Owens has been with the fans on Franklin Street tonight, and that's where everybody's heading right now.
Oh, yeah, he's joining us now with a firsthand account of how everybody's reacting, like #duh, how they're reacting. Come on, Adam.
Oh, my goodness. There are just thousands upon thousands of people in this crowd, and it continues to grow even now. You know.
And now we want to go to Arizona, the site of the Final Four. Jeff Gravely and Linda Levin picks up our coverage now. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. It was fun watching the game. I'd rather be in the stadium, but outside at the very last minute, you could hear the roars come from within when Meeks blocked a shot or someone made that three-point. I mean, it was so much fun hearing that just woo inside.
We were on a little delay, so you'd hear it in there, and then we would watch it out here, and 5 seconds later we would find out what actually happened. But I'll tell you what, it's interesting to watch this whole process. You know, we've seen the seniors, Kennedy Meeks, come in. I mean, you saw in the game tonight, Roy was on his rear end big time during the game, challenging him. He said, "I've been on Kennedy just about as hard as anyone." He said second to Bryce Johnson, who he had last year. So Kennedy Meeks gets to lead North Carolina this year as a senior with a national championship ring.
What is it like being in there during a championship game? We have different media passes, so you get the ones you get to go courtside. We're out here. So, I mean, what is that like?
Well, I had a huge seat upgrade tonight. The first game in the semifinals, I was in the end zone behind the Gonzaga band. Tonight, I was sitting right on the court, and you could hear everything that was said. You could see everything. There were times during the game when Carolina got so frustrated with how discombobulated their offense was. They were so frustrated. What are we doing? But then I saw in the beginning of that second half, when their defense turned things around, they were like, defense, this is going to turn things around.
They're also sitting back counting national championships. Basketball, Carolina now with 6, Duke with 5, Mike Krzyzewski with 5, Roy with 3. That battle of the blues continues. And folks, if you're new here, just put your seatbelt on every fall, because that type of intense rivalry will continue until the end of time.
Here I am, decked out in this.
The Tar Heel faithful came to celebrate, and celebrate they did. The party is still going strong. Next stop, the Dean Smith Center for the Tar Heel homecoming to celebrate the next championship banner that will soon hang in the rafters.
The Carolina Tar Heels set out to do what they did last night. They won a national championship.
And today they bring that title and the trophy home to the Carolina faithful.
Team coverage of the Tar Heels homecoming. Julia Sims is watching for our first glimpse of the plane at RDU.
Think about this. He's coached for 29 seasons. In 17 of those seasons, his teams have won the league championship. That's in Kansas and North Carolina.
See that their charter plane has just arrived and it's taxiing in front of us here at RDU.
And the people around me, I mean, they were picking me up, throwing me in the air, because they all knew I was the women's coach. The whole game they kept asking me what I thought, the strategy and all that stuff. But when it was over with, I mean, I couldn't see anything because everybody was hugging me. And like I said, these two guys picked me up and was throwing me up in the air. But hey, it was wonderful, and what a great time to be a Tar Heel.
And there's Coach Williams coming off now, too.
Yes.
So he kind of looks like he's just been on vacation, doesn't he?
Carrying his own bags,
The national champion Tar Heels walked into the Dean Smith Center to screams and cheers normally reserved for rock bands. They looked out over a crowd of thousands.
Nobody understands this, but the most fun as a coach is to seeing the looks on your guys' faces.
Fans say this homecoming is a thank you for the hard work the team put in and the trophy they brought back home.
I really want this to be for them, and for them to get a nice warm reception from everyone here at Carolina, because they played hard. They did very, very well this season, and they really deserve that, warm welcome home.
Y'all just kept on believing in us, when there was times where it just didn't seem like we were going to get back to where we wanted to be. We basically did our thing, and we came back home with it.
For Roy Williams, title number 3 elicited 3 of what he called the greatest feelings imaginable. Getting to see the joy on his kids' faces, the chance to trim the nets, a tried and true Victor's tradition, and the third?
Just think of all those other people around here that are so ticked off right now. Thank you.
It was just an out-of-body experience to have your mother honored in that way.
How she found out about her mother's hidden career and what it was like to see her mother's journey brought to life on the big screen. Watch tonight at 5, only WRAL News.
The daughter of the real Katherine Johnson lives right here in North Carolina. She says this whirlwind experience to the silver screen all started when her mom's biography was published in this book. Just 1 month later, and Hidden Figures debuted in theaters. Before they were machines, computers at NASA were women mathematicians and physicists. Hidden Figures tells the true story of 3 of those women and the key role they played. At the center of the movie, Katherine Johnson, who was portrayed by Taraji P. Henson.
So yes, they let women do some things at NASA, Mr. Johnson.
Johnson, the brilliant girl with the numbers, was responsible for getting a man into space. But to her youngest daughter,
she was just Mom. And I still, as you can see, get filled up when I think I'm humbled by it.
For years, Catherine Moore says she underestimated her mom's job because the mathematician couldn't tell anybody about her top-secret work at NASA. It wasn't until Moore was a freshman in college when she stumbled on a newspaper article that spilled the beans.
I screamed out in the library, "That's my mother." And we read it, and I went and called her. I said, "You never told me what you were doing." She said, "It was my job."
WRAL places a priority on telling stories that capture the essence of the human condition and character. We endeavor to provide news coverage that can truly make a difference.
It was basically like prison, like you're in a jail cell.
That's how Arione Jones Sanders remembers her middle school years because of the constant taunts from two classmates.
And they were basically bullying me because of my height.
She remembers that other students only stood by and laughed.
I felt kind of violated. I had a lot of bad depression.
I just broke down crying. I just couldn't stand anymore. And one of my other friends came, put his arm around me, and walked me home.
I got to tell you, in 22 plus years of reporting, I've never covered a story quite like this. Grieving parents donating their daughter's heart to a young boy in the Triangle in need.
Thank you for the greatest gift I ever received.
Listening to their daughter's heart inside his chest.
What a story. What a story.
Pursuing the excellence in our community, in people. That's my privilege. That's WRAL News.
Her heart beats on and her heart beats strong.
Words, even poetry, fail to encompass a moment like this. But Tina Turner tries with a poem written by a friend.
My gratitude can't be put into words.
Words fail us when feelings overwhelm us. Her 14-year-old son, Al-Jay, tries with a letter he wrote.
Thank you for the greatest gift I ever received ever in my life.
But his weeping says more than words ever could. Al-Jay Jeffries was born with an enlarged and weak heart. We first met him in February, in the hospital, waiting for a new heart. Not long after, a 14-year-old girl in Florida named Caitlin Zimmerman was hit by a car while riding her bike. She and her younger brother Dylan were killed. Their dad, Sean Zimmerman, heard about Al-Jay from his mother, who saw his story on Facebook.
We both just knew that's where Caitlin's heart was going. We just knew.
Caitlin's grandma and Al-Jay's mom exchanged messages on Facebook. They wanted to meet.
Is this something you had to do? Yeah. I had to do it. For me, Savannah, and Caitlin.
That's Savannah on his lap, Caitlin's twin sister. When it came time to listen to Caitlin's heart through a stethoscope, Savannah just couldn't do it. But Dad did, and Grandma did, and Al-Jay's mom did, also for the very first time.
It's strong and beautiful and just beautiful.
I asked Caitlin's dad to describe what it was like to hear her heart beating in another chest.
I don't know how to put in words.
Sometimes releasing white balloons into the sky says what needs to be said. And turning loose butterflies, how Caitlin loved butterflies. Words cannot encompass it all. But again, Al-Jay's mom beautifully tries.
With so much chaos in the world, we have unity and no race. This is no color in this heart. No color. Just a heart. Love. You know, and with everything that's going on, I'm so glad that we show people what unity is all about.
Boy, the message that they have to share is just beautiful.
Brian, thank you for telling that story so beautifully. And the mother's statement
Oh my goodness.
of the heart knowing no color.
That's right.
How appropriate at this time in our society right now. Brian Mims, the best to you and to both of those families there.
And Al-Jay doing so well. That's so good to see, too.
Yeah. What a story.
Well.
What a story.
Here come the Bulls.
When I grew up, I just wanted to be a cowboy.
Even as a kid, Jerome Davis wanted to be a bull rider.
I was infested with bull riding.
Get a hold! Foot came up, got it back down. Come on, Jerome, atta boy! He entered competitions all over the country and won.
Oh, he made it. What a nice ride. I put my heart into it, and as it worked out, I made a living with a bull rope in my hand.
Yeah, keep it riding. Don't you quit. Did you ever worry about getting hurt?
I mean, I watched my friend in '94 get killed right there in front of me. If you're going to play a man's sport, you got to play a man's price.
And sometimes that price is the ultimate reward.
Keep it humping, that a boy. Yes, sir, pay the man.
What did you think to be the world champion?
That was all I ever wanted to do.
And Jerome Davis did it, the 1995 world champion bull rider. A fella from Archdale, North Carolina, pictured on trading cards. Jerome was at the top until it all nosedived.
He was spinning and he jumped forward.
1998, Fort Worth.
I just fell over his front end and dove in like he'd dive into a swimming pool and he broke my neck.
Jerome's tough ride was just beginning.
But I knew this time it was pretty bad.
The doctor confirmed it.
I have to tell you the way it is, you're never going to walk again.
What did you think when he told you that?
Well, I mean, you can imagine. I was living a dream. There was nobody that went to work every day that enjoyed what they did for a living more than I did.
So what did he do?
You can't lay around and whine about it. You just got to take the cards you got dealt and go on with it.
Come on with it.
It's a little over 100 head of bucking bulls.
He runs his ranch, glad for his dog who runs the bull.
Up, down, down. I trained and raised bucking bulls.
And here come the bulls.
What is your goal from here on out?
My goal is kind of like it was before I got hurt. I want to be a world champion bull rider.
He wants to walk and then ride.
Since then, I got married. I've got a good wife. Life is good. I mean, I can't complain.
Don't quit. Here he comes the other way.
He doesn't look back, is stubborn that way. He looks ahead, looks the future in the eye.
You just can't let life shake you. It's an obstacle. You get over it and you go on.